Restoring Lost Voices, presented by the Massachusetts General Hospital Voice Center. This voice restoration project aims to revive over 1 million American voices and is supported by the Institute of Laryngology and Voice Restoration with the honorary chairwoman Dame Julia Andrews, in collaboration with colleagues at MIT, Harvard Medical School, and Boston University School of Medicine. Our voice restoration effort was first announced at a press event at Sardi's in New York, 2002.
Okay, may we begin? I'd just like to thank you all so much for finding the time in your schedules to attend today's announcement. And it is of an extraordinary launch of pioneering science in a field that's very dear to me. And as I look around the room and know the wonderful caricatures that are in this building, some of the world's greatest performers, I can't help but think that they would support me in this special project. I've been, as you know, singing and acting all my life, and the loss of my singing gift was a difficult chapter for me, but I'm delighted at this moment to be using my voice in a rather new and important way, and that is to help bring this incredible program that we're going to announce today into focus. I've been seeing Dr. Stephen Zeitels, who is this gentleman on my right, and you'll be meeting him shortly, for about 4 years now, since the loss of my singing ability due to previous surgery. During this time, I've had the opportunity of meeting these scientists and doctors here before you, and to learn of the progressive research that they have respectively engaged in during the past 10 years in laryngology. Not only has this given me hope for a potential answer to my particular problem, but it has enabled me to learn that I'm but a microcosm of millions of others who share the same or a similar condition. And it's not just the people in my profession who will benefit from this new research. It is, let's say, children with vocal fold injuries from life-sustaining breathing tubes, let's say prematurely born children who have to have breathing tubes in their throats, throat cancer patients, vocal professionals, for example, teachers, executives, lawyers, clergy, and even aging individuals suffering simply from voice loss. And all of them will benefit from this research collaboration being announced today, and that's why I am so excited to be a part of it. It's a remarkable team with me here, and I have the pleasure of introducing them. The world-class doctors and scientists before you are, and on my right is Stephen Zeitels, MD, and he is the noted laryngologist and voice surgeon from Harvard Medical School.
And this has a key point here. We all, no matter who we are, begin our first moments screaming, okay? And we go through life using it. And regardless of gender, regardless of age, regardless of country, it is a basic human function. And when we leave this world, we leave people with our last words. And these vocal folds see tremendous amount of shearing stresses and collision forces. Next. The system is fairly straightforward if we look at it at this level. The lungs are a power source. They push air, which is through a tube, the trachea or windpipe, and the vocal folds come together and they go into entrained oscillation. And that vibration emits a sound, and the throat's a horn. It's a three-dimensional horn, so the signature of our voice is the shape of the throat, although you need a steady sound source. Now you're going to see what happens from a girl who, when she was 3, had airway problems, intubated, scarred, and then came to me at 13. There is no vocal fold tissue that's vibrating.
For the class projects.
Because they have trouble hearing you?
I don't like my voice.
Okay.
This is her 10 years after that surgery, which saved her life but left her voiceless.
Sure. Now,
And watch what you see in here. Instead of those fairly healthy vocal folds, it's all scar. They saved her from living with a tube in her throat for the rest of her life, but she does not produce sound. And this project will hopefully be able to restore this girl's voice There are thousands and thousands of these children because they perfected these airway procedures in the 70s, and now these children are in high school and college, and they would not have survived before. And now they're voiceless, entering the real world.
Well, I'm here to see if there's a way to correct my voice. Because when I was little, I had surgery that damaged my vocal cords. And I'm hoping that it'll get easier to talk so that I won't have to strain so hard.
So these are normal vocal folds, and you saw how hers look so different. What we're going to do now is take a line through here and look at the tissues. Next. This is a diagram. So what happens in a higher pitch, you thin this thin layer so that it oscillates at a higher frequency. What's lost in these people is this layer right here. That gets lost through use, through instrumentation, people having tubes for operations. And ultimately, we want to restore this and also measure how much loss there has been, and that's why this team has been assembled. So with that primer, what I would like to do is move through the group here. I'm going to begin with my close colleague, Bob Langer. As you see in the bio, he is one of the world-renowned scientists, let alone a biomaterials expert, and I think both the material he'll show you as well as just reviewing some of his accomplishments, it'll make you all clear about that. Bob?
Thank you very much. I'd like to briefly go over some of what we've tried to do in the past and then conclude by saying what we hope to do here, still at very early stages. But it's our hope, and I think the hope of many people, that tissue engineering can really usher in a revolution someday in enabling people to create new tissues. But the idea is really to apply the techniques we've used here for other tissues to this particular problem. Could we either create the right type of polymer? Could we discover or isolate the right kind of polymer? Or could we combine polymers with cells to create new vocal cord tissue?
Vocal cord biogel is made using a polymer called polyethylene glycol, or PEG. We chose PEG because it is used in numerous FDA-approved products on the market, such as Duracell, which is used in brain surgery, and various drugs for the treatment of cancer and hepatitis. There are 3 components of vocal cord biogel. 1. PEG. 2. PEG diacrylate, which is basically PEG but with sticky ends. And 3. Photoinitiator, which is a catalyst for the reaction. These 3 components are mixed in a predetermined ratio, and the gel is formed by shining UV light on the mixture, as shown here. During gelation, the UV light activates the photoinitiator, which in turn activates the sticky ends of the PEG diacrylate. These sticky ends then form a network by attaching to each other. The PEG gets entangled in this network, thereby giving bulk to the gel. The gelation is complete in 10 minutes. The gel formed is not only soft, but highly elastic, similar to the human vocal fold. Because of its elasticity, the gel returns to its original shape upon deformation, similar to a rubber band. However, the gel vibrates even when subjected to a small force. In order to fine-tune the properties of the gel, we incubate it for 24 hours in saline, which softens it to its final form. Post-incubation, the gel now has properties matching the human vocal fold. The gel is then filled in syringes and is ready to be injected through a needle. Here we have cast vocal cord biogel in the shape of vocal folds in order to demonstrate the gel's ability to vibrate. Air blown through the gel causes an oscillation similar to that seen in real vocal folds. The video shown here has been slowed down 30 times so we can see what is happening.
Different recipes of the gel are then tested in animal vocal cords that we obtain from local meat processing companies. Vocal cord scarring can be simulated by stiffening the tissue and then treating it with injections of gel. In this example, the left vocal cord was stiffened and then treated with gel dyed blue. Notice how naturally the blue material is vibrating. We continue to develop and test improved versions of the gel through the generous support of donors and the ILVR.
For the majority of my life, I have earned a paycheck and have been the beneficiary of the collaborative efforts of those people that make movies and television and stage possible. And now, as a member and supporter of the Patient-Based Institute for Laryngology and Voice Restoration, I have the opportunity to be the beneficiary of another collaboration with this unique interdisciplinary department, all the departments that have been made possible by the Mass General Hospital. And so thank you, Mass General. Thank you, Doctor, for your future thinking approach to problem solving. So many people of all ages who are affected with vocal cord injuries, like mine, like people who, you know it all, will soon have a cure because of the generous financial support in this room of yourselves and also others who unfortunately couldn't even be with us here this evening, but they all know who they are, and Steve knows who they are, and I'm sorry they couldn't join us also, but we thank them too. Amazing work has occurred over the past 5 years. I mean, I was in it at the beginning, and I see this and I'm staggered. Since our launch that you saw in that video presentation, I mean, after I had my vocal cords reevaluated by Dr. Zeitels and Hillman this afternoon, I was provided with a full presentation of the research and the progress that's been achieved. Be still my heart is all I can say, because your money has been well spent, and I know there will be many, many cures in the future and many wonderful things done thanks to your help. I'll continue, if you'd like me to, Steve, to be your petri dish and to allow all the wonderful, amazing research to continue to flourish. And I'm a willing subject for research and anything else. Thank you all. Thank you all for all that you do. I don't think I've ever heard of this kind of synergy, this kind of networking, this kind of dedication from all sides. I've never heard of patients and doctors and everybody saying, this is what we want. And it's quite miraculous what's in this room tonight. I am so proud to be a part of it. I am so in awe of the work that you all do. I'm well aware that I know so little of it, and yet I hope that I'm bright enough to know that it is amazing. And it is, when you think that it's all micro work. Now, I wish to be in this room with all of you again, and I will take delight in singing my thanks to you. Maybe not quite as I did, but I promise you that I will belt out something appropriately.